Throughout WWE's existence, we know two things. There have been some good matches and there have been some bad matches. But today we're going to talk about the bad matches, man. We're going to talk about maybe what the worst match in WWE's history is. You know, I'm going to pick what match is the worst match out of all the options that are going to pop up. I don't know what matches are going to match against each other. It's all randomized, but I'm going to pick which one I think is the worst one. And you all let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. Let me know which one you would pick. But before we start, you know the deal, man. Show the support. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. Giving y'all the John Cena salute, man. I appreciate all the support on the content. We continue to grow on the channel. Make sure you guys also follow the other social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well, if you guys want to interact with me or be part of some of these other videos, because sometimes I may post certain things on my other social medias to, you know, for you all to be a part of YouTube videos for the future. So make sure you be on the lookout for that. But let's get into it, man. What is the worst match out of all the matches on this list that's going to come up? Let's talk about it. All right, so what we're doing here today for all my followers, man, thank you guys for the support watching. I'm going to pick what is the worst match out of these options that's going to come up. I don't know what's going to be going up against each other, so I'm just going to pick what match is the ultimate worst match at the end of it. So starting off, we have WrestleMania 34, John Cena versus The Undertaker, and Eric Bischoff versus Teddy Long, Survivor Series 2005. Some people may forget, yes, that actually happened. That was a match that happened. If you have Peacock, WWE Network, go look at Survivor Series 2005. You will see that match right there. It was general manager versus general manager. Maybe they end up doing it this year for Survivor Series in 2023. Who knows, right? Cena versus Taker really pissed me off. Even though I heard the interview about where Cena and Taker both told the story about the match, and they both told their side to the story, and the squash match was what like Cena and Vince wanted to do, and Taker didn't want to do it, but they ended up doing it anyway. Some of us had waited years to see John Cena versus The Undertaker finally at WrestleMania. And even though Undertaker was old, past his prime, John Cena was pretty much leaving WWE from a full-time perspective, we still were getting it. And the fact that we got a squash match out of it is one of the most disappointing things that I've ever witnessed as a wrestling fan for me personally. Like, I always dreamed about Taker and Cena both colliding, you know, when Taker had the streak and Cena was Super Cena, right, in his prime, at his peak. But we never got it. And at WrestleMania 34 in 2018, I'm like, all right, you know, at least we're going to get it now. And then they gave us a squash match. I just, I don't know, man. I can just never get over that. But the worst match, though, was Bischoff and Teddy Long. I mean, look at it, bro. It's Eric Bischoff and Teddy Long, bro. Like, who thought that was a good idea? WrestleMania 27, John Cena versus The Miz. WrestleMania 34, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Easily Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns is the worst match. These are terrible WrestleMania main events. I think they both were terrible WrestleMania main events, but Lesnar versus Reigns was... It was like WWE really backed themselves into a corner on purpose. Brock Lesnar had been champion long enough, and people were just tired of him being champion because he was on a part-time schedule, and none of the matches that he had defending the championship were really good, and he didn't have any appealing stories as the champion either. In 2018, Roman Reigns was still the big dog character, and fans were just still rejecting it. They weren't accepting Roman for what he is like they are now. So you put literally the two guys in the main event of WrestleMania that majority of the fans don't want to see as champion, and the fans didn't care. They crapped all over it. Not to mention it took 6 F5s to beat Roman in this match. When we all thought Roman was going to win, they stretched it out to SummerSlam. Like, they just did too much with that shit, man. They did too much with it. Brock Lesnar and Roman is the worst match. The Fiend versus Goldberg, Super Showdown 2020, Diesel versus King Mabel, SummerSlam 1995. Man, Goldberg versus The Fiend. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt, man. Still crazy to think that he's really gone now, but... And I don't dislike Goldberg. I'm actually a Goldberg fan, but it's like, no, him beating The Fiend was just... Oh, man, it was just all around, like, one of the worst decisions you could possibly have, but... The worst match is King Mabel versus Diesel. If you have never seen it, first of all, King of the Ring 1995 is one of the worst pay-per-views WWE has ever done. Ever done. And this was during, like, you know, mid-90s, New Generation era where WWE was really struggling. But this match overall, yeah, this match was absolute duty cheeks. Oh my god. WrestleMania 20, Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, Damian Priest versus The Miz, WrestleMania Backlash. So this was like the zombie match, right? When they had the zombies come out and stuff. For that encounter with Priest and Miz. Lesnar and Goldberg, though, man. This was one of the most anticipated, hyped up matches, and it shit the bed. I mean, both guys were leaving the company, and the fans had knew both guys were leaving, so the fans pretty much hijacked the match. They did not care about this match at all. They pretty much hijacked it, and even though Stone Cold was the referee, it still didn't help at all. I think Priest versus Miz was just way. I mean, the zombie stuff was just like, yeah, it was too much. Clowns Are Us versus Royal Family Survivor Series 1994. Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight Royal Rumble 2023. So this was the pitch black. Oh man, that pitch black match was not good. Yeah. Clowns Are Us versus Royal Family though, man, that was like WWE around the mid 90s were just like, bro. It was something, man. It was something. Clowns Are Us though. I gotta go with this one. Men's Royal Rumble 2022, Brock Lesnar vs. Cain Velasquez, Crown Jewel 2019. Oh, I gotta go with the Men's Royal Rumble in 2022. That was one of the worst ones I've seen. Goldberg vs. Strowman, WrestleMania 36, WrestleMania 26, Bret Hart vs. Mr. McMahon. Yeah, Bret vs. Mr. McMahon was ass, bro. That was ass. I understood the concept of why they did it, but it's like, nah, that was not it. Royal Rumble 1995, WrestleMania 27, Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler. Oh my gosh, both these matches were terrible, but I'm going to say Cole and Lawler. Yeah, I got to give it to Cole and Lawler. Because the fact they gave Jerry Lawler his first and only WrestleMania match against freaking Michael Cole. I get Michael Cole was the top heel commentator at the time, and I understand that, you know, like, they were having, I guess, a little beef, you know, like, on commentary and stuff, but you couldn't give Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler could have wrestled Jack Swagger. He could have wrestled Jack Swagger at WrestleMania right there. Like, yeah, this one was 1995 Royal Rumble was bad though. Oh my gosh! Undertaker versus Goldberg Super Showdown, DX versus Brothers of Destruction. Oh my god, these were like two of the worst matches I've ever seen. Dude, both of these matches were a recipe for disaster. Undertaker, Goldberg past their primes. Goldberg dropped Undertaker damn near on his neck with that jackhammer. Undertaker dropped Goldberg on his head with that tombstone. They had to end that match with that terrible chokeslam, the knee bar. Like, oh my god. But then DX vs. Brothers of Destruction. Triple H literally tore his pec in the match. Kane's mask fell off. Shawn Michaels fell on his face during the moonsault. Shawn Michaels came out of retirement for this match, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. I gotta go with DX vs. Brothers of Destruction, man. The match was longer than this one, too. This one had more, like, bad moves, but this one was just... No, yeah, I gotta go with that one, man. That one was just, like... 2015 Royal Rumble, WrestleMania 20... Oh, yeah, this one for sure. This one was a disappointing match. The build-up was amazing. One of the best WrestleMania build-ups ever. Point blank, period. But that match at WrestleMania... This should have had like a stipulation, last man standing, no holds barred, something like. The feud was really personal leading into WrestleMania. Randy Orton had kicked Triple H's father-in-law in the skull and his brother-in-law, and DDT'd and RKO'd his wife. And then kissed her while Triple H was handcuffed in the corner. And we got a regular-ass match at WrestleMania that year. That didn't make sense. But the 2015 Royal Rumble, I think, is the worst Royal Rumble of all time when it comes to a booking perspective. They literally booked this Rumble to where the fans had to turn on Roman Reigns. I feel like they put Roman Reigns in such a bad position. I gotta go with the 2015 Rumble. Too much versus Al Snow and Head, bro. Hornswoggle and Khali. I forgot about that match. That's crazy. So you have Hornswoggle versus Khali, and you have Al Snow and Head versus Too Much at King of the Ring 98, and this is definitely the worst match for sure. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, Hell in a Cell 2018, WrestleMania 21, Aki Bono versus The Big Show. This is one of the only things bad about WrestleMania 21. WrestleMania 21 is still a GOATed in my all-time favorite WrestleMania, but this is one of the things about that WrestleMania that wasn't needed, I'll say that, but I gotta go with this one, man. This was the first Hell in a Cell to stop in a no contest that didn't make any sense at all. Brock Lesnar coming out and beating up both guys just for it to end in a no contest when Strowman had cashed in Money in the Bank. Another moment they could have pulled the trigger to have Braun Strowman cash in Money in the Bank and win the championship.
But once again, didn't put the championship on Braun Strowman when the time was right. This was the worst match. WrestleMania 33, Roman Reigns versus Undertaker, Seth Rollins versus Fiend, Hell in a Cell. I don't even have to look at it. It's this one for sure. That one for sure. I don't even have to think about that one. WrestleMania 33, Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. WrestleMania 9, Giant Gonzalez versus The Undertaker. This match was very stupid with the effects and stuff in the ring with the bugs and maggots and stuff. But no, this one was like, yeah, this one by far was the worst one. WrestleMania 32, Triple H versus Roman Reigns. Roddy Piper versus Lawler. King of the Ring 1994. This WrestleMania main event was very boring, but that was because majority of the fans just were tired of Roman Reigns. The match was okay. This one was the worst match. That was the worst match. WrestleMania 7, Jake Roberts versus Rick Martel. This was the blindfold match. Oh, Triple H versus Scott Steiner, Royal Rumble 2003. Ooh, that match at the Rumble was not good. The blindfold, man. I gotta go with the blindfold match, though. The blindfold match. Diesel versus King Mabel was worse. DX versus Brothers of Destruction. Oh, man. WrestleMania 26, Brett versus Vince. Men's Royal Rumble 2022, man. Y'all hear that? Damn cat outside the damn window. That's a cat. There's cats that walk around outside the window. You know, they always coming up against the window. I don't know if they're out there mating or not. I don't want to look out there and find out. So, Bret versus Vince was just like Bret Hart's revenge type thing against Vince, where he just basically got his ass beat. But from a booking perspective, the Men's Royal Rumble, yeah, that was worse, man. Seth versus The Fiend. Don't even have to think about that one. Oh, these were equally ass. Brock versus Reigns. Gonzalez versus Taker. It's crazy that Undertaker really did not start to have his best WrestleMania matches until like pretty much the middle and towards the end of his career, like during the Attitude with This Aggression era stage, PG era. Like in the earlier years, most of his WrestleMania matches were not that great to watch. But from a booking and everything and all around, Lesnar versus Reigns, man, that's one of the worst WrestleMania main events ever to me. That might be number one. 2015 Rumble. Priest, Miz, with the Zombies, Piper and Lawler, King of the Ring. I'm gonna go with that zombie stuff. Yeah, that zombie stuff was Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole. Seth and The Fiend. That's gonna make it pretty far. I can tell you that right now. Oh, DX versus Brothers of Destruction. Diesel versus King Mabel, man. I'm gonna have to go with DX and Brothers of Destruction. That was just like all around, just a clusterfuck, man. Big clusterfuck. This would have made it further, but that 2015 Royal Rumble, man, that's one of the worst ones ever. This is where I gotta give the Zombies, a break, because Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler, that was one of the worst main events ever. 2015 Rumble. DX vs. Brothers Destruction. Seth and The Fiend. Yeah, Seth and The Fiend. 2015 Rumble. Seth and The Fiend. Let's break it down here, man. Royal Rumble 2015. Daniel Bryan had just came back. Majority of the fans wanted Daniel Bryan to win. He comes in early in the match. Gets eliminated early in the match. Then you pretty much knew Roman Reigns was winning. And the fans hadn't really turned on Roman yet at this time either. Like, people had no reason to hate Roman Reigns at this time frame. Roman comes in the Rumble. In the finals of the Rumble, they had Big Show and Kane, who are representing the Authority. In 2015, who gives a crap about Big Show and Kane, right? And then, in a spit in our face, Big Show and Kane eliminate 3 of the fan favorites at the time, back to back to back. They threw out Bray Wyatt, who was the MVP of that Rumble. They tossed out Dolph Ziggler, who was still a fan favorite at the time, and they tossed out Dean Ambrose. And then Roman Reigns tosses out both those guys. And then, before that, The Rock had come out. And even with The Rock got a big ovation. But even afterwards, when Big Show and Kane got eliminated and then Rusev came back in, Roman throws out Rusev, even when The Rock came in the ring to try to hold up Roman's hand and stuff, the fans still booed. With The Rock in the ring, one of the biggest megastars in WWE history. They were pissed. And this one right here. Hell in a Cell. Seth and The Fiend. The Fiend's character was new and fresh around this time. Why they put him in the championship picture immediately, I will never understand. I think that was a terrible all-around decision. He should have never been thrown in the title picture that early. I think they should have built up his character slowly and properly to be dominant and to be, a scary force on the roster. And Seth Rollins, a lot of fans were kind of started turning on babyface Seth around this time as well, if you remember. But this Hell in a Cell match, the red light was terrible off rip. And you had this cell match end in a no contest because Seth Rollins took a sledgehammer and he bashed it onto some weapons that were laying on top of the Fiend's body, and you had to stop the match. And the Fiend all of a sudden comes revived. And then he takes out Seth Rollins with that blood in his mouth and everything. It's like one of the worst booking decisions I've ever seen. And I don't ever really get mad at wrestling like that because wrestling is wrestling to me at the end of the day. And I know there are going to be some things that I don't like and some things that I love about wrestling. But when there's stupid shit that happens like that, that's what really drives me over the edge. I don't believe that nobody sat down in that creative team and thought this was the best outcome for this match right here possible and thought the fans were going to be satisfied with it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. There's no way Vince McMahon and the creative team sat down and said, this is how we're going to end Fiend versus Rollins Hell in a Cell match. This would be the perfect scenario and the fans are going to understand it and accept it. There are no rules in a Hell in a Cell match. What Seth Rollins did to the Fiend, he was allowed to do that. That was legal. It doesn't make sense. Just like the year previously with Brock Lesnar when he came out and beat up Roman and Strowman. That rhymed, Roman and Strowman. When he beat them up and then he took them out, they couldn't continue because they got laid out by Brock Lesnar. It's Hell in a Cell. It's a Hell in a Cell. Like anything goes. We saw Mick Foley get thrown off the fucking cell and then choke slam through the cell all in one match, and it continued. Like the Hell in a Cell just. When I was growing up, the Hell in a Cell had a type of aura to it where it was like, this was a type of match that would end big personal type feuds, rivalries. When you knew they said you're going to fight in Hell in a Cell, then you knew it was going to be a bloodbath. It was going to be a war, The first Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, I mean, Triple H and Shawn Michaels ended their feud in 2004 in the Hell in a Cell. Undertaker and Randy Orton, they had that long year feud in 2005, ended in the Hell in a Cell. Batista and Undertaker had their feud in 2007, ended in the Hell in a Cell. DX and the McMahons ended their feud in Hell in a Cell in 06. Like, Edge and Undertaker ended their feud in Hell in a Cell in 08 at SummerSlam. Like, the Cell was meant to have personal beef where you could have two guys or maybe more than two guys go in the cell and just absolutely tear each other apart and leave it all out there and end it in the most demonic structure there is. And then the aura of the cell just kind of fell down afterwards because then they had the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, and then now every year we get a Hell in a Cell. And there were some Hell in a Cell matches that didn't even have any purpose to even be, a Hell in a Cell match. It just made it a Hell in a Cell just because it was on the pay-per-view. The 2015 Rumble, I think, is the worst Rumble of all time, but this honestly might be the worst booking decision I have ever seen in my life when it comes to anything WWE has ever done. It made zero sense. Not to mention, it killed Seth Rollins as a babyface because the fans turned on him after this. And it killed the Fiend's character, I think, a little bit too, because it made his character look like too much of a, unstoppable mythical creature or something like that. And then they put the title on the Fiend, and then you saw how he lost. He lost it to Goldberg. Yeah, this one's the worst match on this list.